5, and then I shifted. Yeah.
14.4
is this now?
Now it's 14.4.
computer.
No, he's asking which language it is, so you'll have to explain
Which language?
what Ubuntu is.
Ubuntu is a distribution. I come to it later. I started. My history, I grew up in Switzerland, and I became interested in religion when I was around 20 when I finished school, and then I visited India for the first time in 1993. And then I went back to study comparative religions, and then I decided to go to India to study Buddhism and practice Buddhism. So I spent about 3 years in Dharamsala in northern India. And during this time, 98 was the time when Apple had lots of problems, and Steve Jobs moved back from his next company to Apple. And he used Gandhi and others as advertisement. And it was like a big advertisement campaign, everyone liked it. In one computer magazine, they wrote very critically. They say, well, it's nice to use Gandhi, but I mean, what does it have to do with the bottom line? I mean, this is a high-class project for the upper class, even in the West it's the upper class, right? Some rich guys misuse Gandhi for their product, but Apple is doing nothing at all for the people Gandhi spoke of. So this inspired me to write an open letter to Steve Jobs. It took me, I think, about 2 or 3 months to complete it. It's a 4-page letter. And I complained to Steve Jobs that he's misusing Gandhi. I mean, if he uses Gandhi for an advertising campaign, he also should do something. I mean, there is information technology that can be used for the rich and for the fancy thing, or it could boost education. It could really help the poor. It could help the bottom line too, like the spinning wheel on IT level. So it was a 4-page letter that I sent to plenty of newspapers. I think about 160 US newspapers, and I got one response. It was an auto-generated message from Western Globe. There was zero feedback, so nobody was interested. But it changed me actually, and I was looking for some software that could have the Gandhi principles of sharing, supporting the bottom line, helping the poor, and so on. And then someone introduced me to Linux. That was in 1999-2000. And of course, if you just wrote a letter like this and you think about software development that helps the poor, and you come to Linux, to GNU Linux, it's just, I mean, it's heaven. It's perfect. So I jumped on Linux. I bought the SUSE kit, an expensive thing with 5 CDs and books and everything. I installed it. That was quite easy. So I installed the Linux thing in about 1.5 hours at night time, and I think it's perfect. And then the next day I try to use a CD-ROM. The CD-ROM lacks the driver, doesn't work. And then I get some error messages and they pop up, and so I write an email to SUSE because I had customer support. And I expected to be a computer geek, actually. I thought I know everything about computers. And I tell them, could you give me a list of error messages? And they write back, we don't have a list of error messages. It doesn't exist. And they go, excuse me, what? And I ask about the CD-ROM, and they say, well, this support is not covered, but you can do this and this and this and this. And I go, I do what? I have to open what? The console? What do you mean? And then it started. So I had to open the console. The console is actually this thing that you see here. It's the hash here, like the DOS prompt. So and you have to enter commands there. And I mean, I know a little bit DOS, like CD or dir or something like that. But much more I didn't. And then I had to install the drivers for the CD-ROM, and this was already quite difficult. But other tasks became so extremely difficult and frustrating. My way to work with Linux was computer here, try the problem, and have a big box of biscuits on the side. So whenever you fail, you take another biscuit, and then you try again. So I think my most frustrating experience I had was a few weeks after I installed the system, when I tried to save a document on a floppy. So the screen showed this floppy, like in Windows, you have this floppy drive, and produce a document and I drag it on the floppy, and then it always pops back, moves back, and there is a message. You have to mount the blah 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 first. And I thought, what about mountains here? This is a computer system. And I tried for 1.5 hours, and I was already thinking about going to a psychotherapist because the most easiest task, saving a file on a floppy, failed. I was so entirely frustrated. And I was so lucky that in this moment a friend of mine came by. Actually, it's one of the very few friends who is in Linux, and he practically never visits me. It's always the other way around. But in this moment, he just came by and he saved me from complete depression. He explained me what I had to do. I have to how to mount a floppy drive and so on. And then finally, I understood that this is much more complicated. So this was my first experience with Linux, and the difficulties went on. The concept of Linux and the software and all this hierarchies command line, this proved so complicated that I finally decided I really want to learn. I have to do an education for it. And this time RHC was very fashionable and very expensive also.
RHC?
RHC is Red Hat Certified Engineer. It's a certification from the Red Hat company. It was just one of the new Linux companies, the big Linux companies. There was SUSE, there was Red Hat, and a few others. And because I knew India, I decided to study in India, in Bangalore. So I went to India and started studying and took the classes and really came into the console.
Can I just interject a little?
Yes.
Just 3 lines. See, he started in around 2000, right? Linux?
Yes.
I started in 93. This problem that he's narrating comes from a simple fact. DOS, when DOS was created, it was created for a dummy. Sort of. Windows started with the precept, have no controls, keep everything open so that no one has any difficulties, and went upwards, improving the security. Linux started from Unix, coming down, trying to meet the common man, coming downwards. So it started from hard to easy. And the two worlds met around 2005.
Yeah. There was already a graphical interface. There was a SUSE that the installation was really easy. You put the CD in, you boot from the CD.
2005-6.
And then, but still, it was just the main thing. So you had a driver missing for the CD-ROM. You couldn't use the modem. You had this, and many tasks needed the console. So you go into the console level, and then you have this cryptic thing that people really don't understand. And 2005 exactly. This is when Ubuntu came in, and with Ubuntu the thing became really. I mean, it just started to fly. Ubuntu gave you a bundle, and you just click and say, I want to install that. It does everything for you. That is a different one. In these times in Red Hat, actually you do an installation, and then it says can't install this because dependencies are missing. You have to install other programs, and it gives you a list of maybe, let's say, 10 other programs. So what you do is you start manually copy pasting this line and install every one of these. And after the third one you install, it says dependency missing, and you have to do the sub-dependencies. And then you're there, and it's like endless. And then suddenly, after 2 hours, it says, can't install the thing, there is a problem with the library, this library conflicts with that library. And after 2.5 hours, you finally give up.
No, this problem was first solved by Debian, and then Ubuntu took it from Debian.
Exactly. Debian was,
apt-get.
apt-get, exactly. And
now everybody has taken it.
And apt-get is
all
the
the
same,
Red Hat and everybody has got it.
Yeah, so in 2003 when I was in Red Hat was very much console based. So I really learned the concept of file system hierarchy, the concept of piping, and so on. It was an amazing thing. I mean, it's really liberating when you come from the Windows world. You go out of this jail of Windows and you come into Unix thinking that it's so much broader.
Why?
Sorry?
Why?
And Windows is made for dummies, as you say, yeah. So dummies.
Yeah.
I mean, Windows is not a really smart concept. It's a simplification, and it's very proprietary. The idea of Gates is probably to make money, and so to just lock you in some way and take away your freedom. Meanwhile, Unix comes from the universities, and these guys, they're really smart. So you see how these people understood what you can do when you have commands and you have commands interacting. And it's complex to explain the whole philosophy of Unix, but Unix philosophy is really freeing your mind. It's expanding you. It's like, wow, that's really smart.
Have you listened to Richard Stallman?
Yes, I met him.
He speaks also in French. He speaks in Spanish.
In Spanish, yeah. I met him in Spain, and he gave a long talk. Unfortunately, it was in Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish, so I just understood the keywords actually. Another keyword when he says GNU or when he says the Free Software Foundation or something like that. He speaks about that. Yeah. So when I was studying Linux in Bangalore, I found this RHC, this Red Hat exam, quite limiting. I mean, you have to learn good things, but there is lots of memorizing of things that are not really important. I mean, if you have a manual, you can just look up it's -F or -R, it doesn't matter. So you should have a way to look up the things that are easy to look up, and you should understand the concept. You have to understand what you do in the general terms, in the big terms, understand the relation, the security, and all those things. If it's small commands or files that stay in one or the other directory, that's things you shouldn't have to memorize. And during this time when I prepared for the exam, I thought, during the exam, and I have to sit in front of this computer or the console and enter these commands, and then I have to think if it's -R, -L or something. I should just have an angel standing behind me, and he should just tell me, now it's -R, -F, and so on, and telling me these nasty options that are so difficult to memorize. And shortly after this experience, I said, well, why not program an angel? I could create a program that makes this angel, that helps me during the exam. And this was the start of a program, of an application that I worked on for almost 10 years. It was 2003, 2004 when I had these exams. And since then I'm doctoring around and trying error on a thing that helps you on the console. Something that is a kind of thing that is with you, but doesn't do the thing for you. It's really genuinely an application that assists you, but doesn't take the work from you. There are fancy applications like graphical things where you have a one-click application, you click and it does everything for you. That's not the idea. These things exist already. The thing was something that assists you on your normal tasks and offers you help, but you yourself can still, you're still in command actually. You choose what you want to do. And this is what came out. Now I have to try to wait a second. Can you see it? Or maybe you just pass it around and people can see it clearly.
That's better.
So now it becomes a little bit ticked-on. And the command line, of course, you have an installation of some server or some process. And generally, I mean, the typical thing is it's about 10 lines. And there are millions of websites that explain like how to connect your phone with Bluetooth to the internet. And sometimes the system does it for you. Ubuntu does a great job. I mean, in Ubuntu, many things just walk out of the box. But still there are cases, you have a special phone, you have a special application, you have a special device. You have to use the concept.
And then it's poetry?
Creating file scripts download some test examples wisely formed. It's either like poetry or like.
No, it's a menu. This is a basic menu. So, what you do usually, you go to the website, and then it explains you the thing, and then it comes a command, and then it explains you another thing, and then comes a command, and so on. And these are about 10 commands. And then you do copy paste. You copy the command, go to the console, paste it. Maybe you edit the line, and then you go back to the window, to the browser, and you do this, and you choose your commands you want, and finally you manage the process. Now, this application brings you all these commands directly to the console. So instead of having to switch the window from browser to console, I have it already in the console. I have a list, a file, that shows me the commands, explains me a little bit what the commands do, and then I can use numbers to execute these commands. And this is very fancy. So I have command 1, command 2, and maybe I need command 3, that's maybe an option or a testing thing or so, and then I can skip 3 and I go to number 4. And so it's very convenient. The thing that I first do is copy and paste from browser to console. Now I can just stay in the console. I don't even need a graphical. I can be on a TTY or on a SSH or so.
No, I think this.
It's
I think it's done something.
oh yeah. Oh, you broke it! My God.
No. On that side, that key.
Yeah, there is a key problem. I don't know what it is, but there is a problem with the key. That's true.
You're trying that with the wrong person.
No, I think I don't think you should fold it. Otherwise, by mistake, they may press the keys. No?
Yeah, they
Just leave it open only. Yeah.
So the keys go on other side.
The key is running mad. Yeah. So. And you can turn it off and then use the keyboard and turn the numbers. So this is the menu. The scripts are organized in files and folders. So the first two you see in blue are the folders, and then the greens are the scripts. Now if you type, you can open the computer. Let's open this thing. Yeah, just unfold it. And now you can choose maybe some test examples, number 2 or so. To enter.
Directly downloads.
It goes to the directory. So in this way you can examine. That's quite simple. And then you go to the commands, to the scripts. Now we should have a script. Let me see if we have a script here. 3. Oh.
Maybe you can show us
Yeah,
all.
I show you all. So
No, so the entire thing is a bash script.
it's a bash script. Yeah, it's a bash script. So I show you shortly the script. This is how a script looks like.
It is a script which is written, in which you choose the menu and then put that
And
particular.
first you just have the navigation.
It's basically all the commands, they are written in the form of a script. So one by one, line by line, they get executed.
Executed or displayed?
Display. Have a look at it.
You can show. You
Yeah, I
can
show
explain. Maybe
I
if you
show the
explain.
thing. Just a look.
No, you can just keep it on a chair and
Keep it on the chair here in the middle.
yeah. And if you just show how it works.
Yeah. So here you see the keys, the numbers. So here that's just the black is just text. That's information, and the red are commands that you can execute. So we. I go a little bit. You see the command. So here you have a command. This is a command with 2 lines, and it echoes hello world.
Whatever you have typed,
Hello.
it will decode.
Yeah. So when I type 2 now here and I say enter,
It will tell you.
it will execute this command. And then I can go say, and I take some number 4 per example. So I can use number 4, and then it's number 4, command number 4.
And that is another script.
And this is called the script, yeah.
Like a function or something.
It's a shell script, yeah. Yeah. So
This is online. This is available online for download.
This is on SourceForge for download, yeah.
And how do you install it?
There is an install script.
Okay.
It's an install script that you have to execute. Yeah. So now if I go more into details, it will be very techy. So maybe I stop here for the moment. Yeah.
You can see a little on the details because some of our members
Yeah.
would be interested in.
Okay, then I go into the details. So the next thing is, I mean, of course, that's just simple commands. Now, what if you have a variable that you have to, if you need some user input. So let's say you have a username that you want to create or something, then you have these variables, that's here. This is a double curly braces statement. So if I use 7, it prompts me for an input. Then it prompts you what's the weather due, then you can give the answer about the weather, like the weather is good or the weather is rainy or something. So we say the weather is rainy. So enter. And now it creates this command, it completes the command and puts it out. That's the user input. Now we have
Come, please come.
I take a real example. This is how to mount. Oh no, just a second. This is a real example. This is a small script about mounting a Windows partition from the console. Now the first command is the fdisk -l. That gives you the partition table. It's a normal thing that you want to see the partition table. So you can use 1, enter, and here we have our partition table. That's some information. Then we type R, where is it? R, and we go back to our menu. This is how it functions. Now the next thing is we have seen the partition table. We have, of course, now we need some variables that are depending on each system. They're always special. Now here we have some variables, $mount point and $partition. That's two variables, and they are. I'm not sure if this works. I didn't update the thing.
They're taken from the input what we have given.
Yeah, this will. It will. Oh yeah, that's.
That's okay.
Oh no, it's here. Yeah, it's here. So I can now use Command D, and with Command D I have the different variables here, and I can change them. For example, I can use the mount point. That's number 1. So I go again, menu-driven 1, enter, and then it gives me the mount points. It's the different values that are entered here. I can choose one. Let's say I take again number 2, enter, and now we do another one. The D. Where is it? Opla. Where is it? D. Another partition. We have to also choose the partition. And here it becomes interesting. Now it becomes very techy, but that's a gimmick. Now I use the partition, and I have here already the value, you see? The values for the partition. DEV 1, 2, 3, and so on. Now where do these values come from? And that was the special thing with this script.
FDisk you get the list of partitions.
Yes, with fdisk, let's get the list for partition. Now what the script is doing, and that's a geek thing, before it shows the script, there are special scripts that you can write that execute before the script is shown. And one script that I created does exactly this fdisk, and looks at the partition table and uses these values of the partition table as values for the variable partition. So I give even more convenience to the user that he doesn't have to use the partition himself. He gets the values already there. So there is a pre-script, how we call it, that can create values for the variables you're using. And in this way you can, of course, improve the menu functions, I mean the convenience of it.
That is a part of the main script. It gets executed before your this menu comes. That
Yeah.
part is a separate script, you have a separate file, or is it the same file? On the top part, you have.
It's in the top file. The T scripts are compressed TAR-GZ files, and within them there is a folder. One folder, there is a head. It's a little script with the data like the name and things like that. Then there is the main part, that's a script. And then there are three folders. One is prescripts, one is variables, and one is commands. So in the prescripts, you put all the scripts that you want to execute before the thing. And these scripts are shell scripts, so they can create variables, they can create content, they can check something, or so they can look if you have the privileges or whatever you want. So, and then there is a variable, so there you can predefine variable by yourself. You can just give a list of variables that are used. And then there is a commands directory where you can have scripts that are specific for this script. So you can manage your scripts within the frame, within the script, that they don't mess around. So when you call the T script, then you have just your scripts associated with them. That are longer commands. I mean, the scripts here are more when you have, instead of a single command, whereas a command is visible, you have maybe a little script like 10 commands, and you don't want to have this longer thing, so you say I put in a script, and then the script is executed as a function. And so now it's getting even more complicated with the scripts. It's even more tricky. The prescripts can generate content that is included inside the T-script as the T-script itself. This is sophisticated. Let's say I want to have a script that is dynamically adapted on every system differently and for every situation differently. And I create this script just before it's executed. So in the moment I execute the pre-script, I can generate content, save this content in a file, and this file I can include in the script as if it were the script itself. And this way I can, on the fly, generate three scripts that are completely adaptable to the situation.
To just shift a little bit away from this, could you introduce us to some of the other work that you've done, including the newspaper,
come away from
the newspaper thing? Because this, the details you can talk later on with those who might be interested. But the newspaper thing that, the leveling up and all, could you show us that?
Should I tell the Z-Mark story also?
Yeah.
Yeah. There is a very good magazine in US. It's called the Z-Mark. And it has a website, Z Communication, Z.com. And you have brilliant writers in this field. They have Noam Chomsky writing there. They have Edward Herman. They have very good background authors. The magazine started in '86 and has reached its 25th year now. But like in Europe and US, print media are really declining. So they have problems with the print media. I once contacted the guy who works on it and suggested to shift the printing software. They use an old software. I think it's one of these dinosaurs of desktop publishing from the 90s. It was very famous in the 90s, but today it's outdated. So the typesetting of the magazine is really substandard. So I wrote him a mail and told him that I suggest to shift to latex, as latex gives you the best typesetting you can imagine. And I offered to write the scripts to manage things, to change the whole thing in latex. But he was not at all interested. He was just like, don't want it at all. And finally I called him up and said, well, maybe it's a misunderstanding on email, and he was again like, no chance, completely rude. And the strange thing is that he runs an organization that is for the participation of society. It's called the International Organization for the Participatory Democracy. That means it's an approach where you integrate people instead of having the top down. But when I tried to participate in this, actually it was completely closed through. That infuriated me so much that I used an enormous amount of time to create a newspaper with latex. Now, if you're familiar with latex, latex is a publishing software for books. And it's very good for books, because books usually have a simple style, many pages, and if you have pictures, then picture integration is quite simple. Now, a newspaper is entirely different. A newspaper is big, and you have article starting here, and then going on the page number 7, and then you have a little ad, and then you have graphics. So using LaTeX for newspaper is really difficult. It's really hard. But I was really dedicated to this thing, and I tried, and I wrote scripts for it. And finally I managed to create a few newspapers. I even printed one a few times, sent it to the people involved in that to show that there is another way. And I have a few here of these newspapers, A3, that may show that it's possible to have LaTeX as a...
Could you show it online? Could you show it?
Do you use LaTeX?
No. That is just some online generated thing. It's very simple. You just choose keywords and paper.li creates your own paper for you. So we are doing nothing. It looks as if I'm sitting and working on it. So his paper is very cool because the columns, not only do they look neat, but actually one line across 4 columns actually levels up.
Register true. I try to do it register true, yeah.
It levels up, so if there's one line on this column, next line, it's all in one. It's so amazing. We were also looking at the Free Software magazine where the writer goes in and just dumps their title, their pull quotes and the text, and once the editor goes in and approves a few things, it actually creates it on the fly.
I ask the computer, you have to do a little bit
See, in
control.
scientific publication now, all the publishers come out
Control like
like
2 fingers, then you can
Yeah.
make it big.
and they
Control
give you the
and 2
style
fingers.
file.
Yeah.
So you just type the matter. Name the matter as chapter, whatever. Fonts, everything settled, return it.
You heard this?
Sorry?
Latex is used a lot in scientific publication.
In scientific, this is why
So all
it's
the
created.
journals use
It was
latex,
created for that, yeah.
and they give you the style file. So you do
Yeah.
nothing but type in your
Exactly.
matter.
This is why it was created, yeah.
So that
It becomes
looks like
difficult if you want to do something special. If you know how to do it, you can do everything. It looks perfect. Then you can do graphics. You can do scripting with loops and so on, and then you can change graphics. It's amazing what people do with LaTeX, but it's demanding. Yeah, it's demanding.
But you can do a small level with links.
You can
Low
do
level,
links.
low level.
Yeah. Yeah.
we are using Glix for all our books. But books layout is simple, no?
What's working quite well is that you use LibreOffice.
Yes.
And you write everything in LibreOffice, and when you're done with all the style and things, then you use the W12 and the
Yes.
conversion, and then you have the option. And that works quite reasonably.
Any suggestion for ebooks creation?
Ebooks creation, I have no idea.
Tony C. Tony is the offline editor for open source magazine and India level.
Oh, yeah.
So he sits in Moira, it's a village here, and
Yeah.
actually edits the magazine from his small village.
Yeah.
See the lines. Just look at the lines.
Now that you use Ubuntu,
Yeah.
how much of your time you spend in console?
I sometimes use the console and read with the console because I like the console. But generally, I'm practically never. I mean, it was funny, a few years ago I had a cell phone, and I wanted to have a connection from the cell phone to the computer, and went to the internet and checked if I can use the internet with a cell phone provider from there and so on. And then I just connected the USB and the cell phone, and I see the Ubuntu just starts counting, and pom, I'm connected. And in Windows you would have to do certain things, and Ubuntu was just out of the box working. It's rare that I use the console for something like that. Only because I like
No,
it.
because the other day I went into console,
Yeah.
and then I realized I got lost in the console a year and a half back, and I started feeling guilty.
It gives you the date.
What?
Console gives you the date when you've been last.
I
No.
mean,
Okay.
W.
see, one of the exercises I've done over the years since I did programming is once in 6 months I write a small program,
Yeah.
benchmark myself, and then benchmark against all the times I took over the years, just to know how bad I'm deteriorating, right?
For those who came in later, we're just introducing Albert. He's a retired NIO scientist and put together a family tree when he was unwell of 1,500 gubias who are all over the place, scattered all over the place. He's a gubia himself, so this surname.
That's a story that I stuck with Frederick, right?
It's one of those interesting stories that
One of the Gouvet things.
What did you do with
They are
all
related
this?
at some point or the other.
What did you do with all the skeletons?
Nothing.
In the
Very
cupboard?
them, very them. He rattled
Your
them.
cupboard must be full.
No, they are not necessarily related to him.
Okay.
But are they all connected? One? No, not even. Do they come from certain villages?
My collection was basically to try and measure how much of the family we interact with to what is really the big family.
But is every Govia related?
Not this.
Not necessarily.
But the Govia Pintos, Govia Suarez also have links here and there. Everyone is related somewhere or the other.
Through Adam.
But the point was, we have a...
No, everyone is not related because see, the way conversions happened, you just took on arbitrary name, no?
Fair enough.
He's talking about the Govias, all the Govias.
No, all the Govias from your village I can understand.
No, what I am saying is I took up the project simply because I said this is the Govia group that I know, I interact with. How much does it really comprise of the family that is supposed to be the Govias? And it's amazingly small. So then I went into my wife's family, just to measure this. How much is the part of the family you are constantly in touch to what is the bigger family?
But there are
It's
Govias
amazing.
in Goa, there are Govias in
Mangalore.
Bombay and Mangalore oriented Govias. So it will not be connected.
Not be connected, but if you search long enough,
Pintos
sometimes you
are
get-
there among the East Indians, Goans and Mangaloreans,
Yes,
isn't it?
yes.
Yeah, so
But they may have no links also.
You know this guy, Berard Pereira?
Yeah.
Berard has done extensive work. He started with his family. But I think he's done more work in my family than his family.
Well, same thing happens.
He's done a lot of
Like I told you,
philosophy.
I started my family. I measured what is the family that I am interacting with to what is the bigger family. Then I decided to do it for my wife's family. Then I did it for my daughter-in-law's family. And as I went along, I started getting a picture that you finally are interacting with not more than
but all this
2% or 3% of what is the big family.
on the net.
Well, I put it one time on the net. But as my family grew bigger, there were more and more people who were
The research,
worried about
Privacy
who will come to know.
privacy
So
issues.
no, but the research you did
on the net and all sources. Any piece of paper anywhere. Link it
You know
somewhere.
this Jenny.
Ginny.com.
Yeah.
Suddenly I got a mail from them that I was related to Tom Jobin of
There is a
Brazil.
post. This,
Oh,
Really?
Antonio
And he's given
Carlos.
all the links. I don't know who the hell these people are.
Frederick, there's a Faust Dissa.
Yeah, there are two of these guys.
With Ginny.
But there are a little bit of issues there because privacy and other things. Supposing they take information from your death ads. Supposing I don't want it to be there, then what?
Well, you can set it, right? Even in
No, you
grams.
can't. The owner of it is someone else, no?
Oh, yeah. But
In
in
Ginny.
grams, you can set it when you're putting in the information whether you want it private or not private. And that too to each level. Whether you want only your date of birth to be private or you want your date of birth and your whatever.
You got grams on
But grams is a standalone.
You get it on Windows also.
you get
You get it in Windows, but it's standalone.
Standalone means it's not online.
Well, you can't set up a server online. You can set up the data online. Like you can set up a family tree, the whole set up your page, etc. We give you all the links, but you can't interact with it and change it.
Okay, I have to leave, so
Okay,
thank you.
yeah,
Thank you for your speech, and thank you everyone.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
How have inspired you the console?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Mac user.
Yeah.
But,
There is a console too in the left,
yeah,
but it's more complicated.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, maybe I can be in touch with you.
Give you
like,
card.
some
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. If you want, I have. Can give you my email.
So were you at the Kala Chakra?
Yes.
Okay, I was there.
Have
Probably
you seen
were-
me there?
I didn't see you there, but I just guessed from what you were saying. I guessed as much that you were there. Yeah. It was nice, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Did you spend all the 10 days?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're looking at that as a novel way of viewing the cards.
That's a novel. Yeah, if you want one, I can just pass it around you. I have it already for 10 years, but people are still excited when I cut it. So it's funny.
Your free script, what you have shown,
Yeah.
can it be used with FFmpeg, which is extensively used for video editing?
Yes.
But
it
they are very, with the options and other things, they are very long and very difficult to remember.
Yes, it would be perfect, but you have to create it. I mean, what I did is I found a website about Ubuntu, and I could maybe I could hack this website by scripts and make it put it into smaller parts. So I have plenty of Ubuntu files for Ubuntu helping. Some work, some don't. But generally, I'm the only maintainer. So you have to create this FFmpeg, but it would be perfect for that. Yes. I mean, you could organize it in folders, you know, for different proposals for different subjects, and then you create your command lines or small scripts or so. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
No, there are some graphical interfaces also available for FFmpeg, but they are not complete. Most of them, actually, whatever you want, you don't get it.
Then it doesn't work. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, generally, when you have many commands, I mean, I use it by myself. So when I use command line options, I create a script after a T script, and I memorize it. I mean, and I store it in the script. And a half year later, I think, oh, I need this.
You know, recently I decided to digitize all my photographs. So I started looking at all the albums and started scanning them. And now with the new smartphones, you can do it very easily. The trouble is with the date. I mean, the photograph was taken on 1945.